Mind Warp, an infinity of terror. 1981 sci-fi horror film from New World Pictures.
It's always midnight in space. Mind Warp, an infinity of terror. In the vast reaches of the void, space explorers on a desperate mission find themselves marooned on a planet of horrors, where all their innermost fears have become reality, and no one can hide from their own nightmares.
Greetings, fiends. Today we're looking at the 1981 sci-fi horror film Mind Warp, an infinity of terror, also known as Galaxy of Terror, also known as Planet of Horrors. Directed by Bruce D. Clark and starring Edward Albert, Aaron Moran, Ray Walston, Sid Haig, and Robert Englund. Mind Warp plot. A ragtag spaceship crew sent on a rescue mission encounter a formidable enemy, their worst fears projected by their own imaginations. Cashing in on Alien. Mind Warp was meant to be a ripoff of Alien from 1979, which was a box office surprise. So New World Pictures was eager to jump on the bandwagon. James Cameron was production designer on this knockoff from Roger Corman's New World Studios, and in the process created a universe that is visually reminiscent of the Ridley Scott Alien film. Cameron would later direct the sequel to its main inspiration, Aliens, from 1986. Smoke and mirrors and maggots. James Cameron also requested to be second unit director as well, so that he could film additional shots. His request was honored, and one of his suggestions was adding a scene involving a severed arm covered in squirming maggots. Cameron used real maggots, but because they didn't move by themselves, he invented a setup by hooking a power drill line to the arm and hiding the cords inside the set. One of his co-workers would then plug the wire into an electrical outlet, letting the maggots wriggle on cue. On the day that the effect was shot, two of the future producers of Piranha 2: The Spawning from 1982 were on set. They were so impressed by Cameron's ingenuity that they immediately told him they had big plans for his future and signed him on for his first directorial deal when production on Galaxy of Terror was over. Skotak Attack. Special effects maestro Robert Skotak was also production designer on the film, and his brother Dennis was the supervising director of photography for special visual effects. A lot of the special effects shots involving live actors combined with matte paintings and miniatures were done in camera. There is also some very cool stop-motion animation photography deftly handled by animator Brian Chin. Set dresser Private Hudson. The set dresser on the film was none other than Bill Paxton before he took to acting. He was employed by the film's art director and future frequent collaborator James Cameron. Paxton would go on to co-star in Cameron's huge hit Aliens in 1986. The infamous giant worm scene. One of the most talked about scenes in Mind Warp is when actress Taff O'Connell is attacked and molested by a giant worm. Originally, she was supposed to be attacked and eaten by the giant worm after she ended up topless. The change to her being molested by it was a last-minute decision by, yes, you guessed it, producer Roger Corman, who had promised investors that there would be a nude sex scene with O'Connell. She didn't want to do it, but later agreed after getting them to pay her more money. She didn't object to being nude while filming, but she was upset by the fact that the set and the slime that she had to be coated with were freezing the day of the shoot. And to add insult to injury, the totally nude O'Connell was nearly crushed by the 1-ton giant worm during filming. It should be noted that a body double was employed for a few of the full nude shots in the sequence. The amorous space slug sequence was named number 10 on its top 20 gratuitous nude scenes of the 1980s by website Flashback in July of 2014. Battlestar Recyclable. The Galaxy of Terror cruise suits were modified with different patches, tags, etc. from the original Battlestar Galactica suits from the television show of 1978 that the producers picked up for little money after the series was canceled. Mystery budget. According to producer Roger Corman, Galaxy of Terror was budgeted at approximately $700,000. I also read that the budget was $5 million, but that may have been the total with advertising, which is often more costly than a low-budget theatrical release film. However, if Mind Warp was delivered for $700,000, that is a very impressive achievement considering the production values in the film. Sid Haig, script consultant. Sid Haig didn't think the dialogue in the script matched the character of Kuwad, so he asked Roger Corman if he could play Kuwad as a near-mute instead. When Corman asked why, Haig said, "Have you read the script?" Corman agreed and let Haig portray Kuwad with almost no dialogue. Haig says only a single line in the whole movie. Bad publicity can be great publicity. Galaxy of Terror made one viewer remark, quote, "One of the most pointlessly gruesome and unpleasant films I have ever seen," unquote. Now that's a movie poster quote if I ever saw one. Studio set locations. The film went into production in the spring of 1981 at the Hammond Lumber Company lot in Venice, California, where New World studio facilities were located. Additional sets, including the surface of the planet and the exterior of the pyramid, were built at a soon-to-be-demolished Beacon storage facility. The walls of the spaceship were made out of McDonald's takeout cartons. Fame around the corner. In just 3 years after the release of this movie, both Robert Englund and James Cameron would become world famous. Robert Englund for A Nightmare on Elm Street in 1984, and James Cameron for The Terminator, also in 1984. Additionally, Robert Englund would go on to star in another sci-fi classic, both the miniseries and its TV series spin-off titled V, where he played Willie the Visitor. Past TV fame. The lovely Erin Moran, who played Joni in the 1970s TV series Happy Days, co-starred as Illuma in Galaxy of Terror, while the great Ray Walston, who played Kor, made his name on the classic 1960s TV show My Favorite Martian. A nod to Asimov. Captain Trantor's name is a reference to the name of a planet in Isaac Asimov's Foundation series. New World, New Horizons. While Galaxy of Terror served as a springboard for a host of new talent, it also marked the end of an era for New World and Corman. The changing economics of the film industry were putting downward pressure on budgets. At the same time, the distribution model was being upended by theater consolidation and home video. Sets, models, footage, and even sound effects from both Battle Beyond the Stars and Galaxy of Terror were soon being recycled in other New World projects. A few years later, Roger Corman sold New World to a cabal of attorneys and industry executives and formed New Horizons. I hope you enjoyed this look at Mind Warp, aka Galaxy of Terror. As always, please like and subscribe. Thank you.